Hi dear friends, welcome to my channel. It's Akshadare by Devraj. I hope you guys are working on to improve your communication. Before going to start this session, today's session, just I would request you guys to please subscribe to my channel, like and comment, so that I can come with more videos related to education, personal interview related videos, and health related videos. Yes, let me start reading newspaper. This is today newspaper. This is the front page. 246 evacuated Indians arrive in Mumbai. Should India face out a nuclear war, recounting a miraculous escape? Will push government to help same-sex couples. Congress says one more Amit Modi pushback. IED planted a day or two before police. Ties depend on peace and border. Rajnath to China. Violation of existing agreements has eroded the entire basics of bilateral relations, says Defense Minister during China's first high-level meeting visit since the Ladakh stand-up began in 2020. Kargil likens Modi to snake, then clarifies. Basivanagudi and Chickpet, among oldest areas, continue to suffer from problems as old as the city. Last year's floods playing on the minds of voters this full session. Bangalore civic institutions collapsed under BJP rule. Kagil likens Modi to snake and then clarifies it was not directed at him. BJP banking on trends in UP and Kerala where poll history was rewritten. Unique underwater water awareness campaign by scuba divers near Netrani Island in Uttara Kannada. BJP and Congress workers clash at Sindharamana Hundi. 685 candidates from over 75 registered unrecognized parties in the fray this election. In the 2018 assembly polls, a total of 83 parties, including 70 RUPPs, had fielded their candidates. Officials say the number of parties contesting the 2023 assembly elections is around 85. Japanese team review LUPX mission with ISRO. Man killed in a lift accident. Three booked for allegedly blocking a woman's car. SC, how did HC division bench whitewash serious charges against civil judge? Inflation, corruption, not election issues. At night, BMTC leaves waiting passengers anxious. In a city like Bangalore, which is home to many types of industries and service sectors, the public transport system at night leaves a lot to be desired. Commuters complain of night bus services that are few and far between, forcing them to rely on autos, taxis, or private vehicles, and lack of safety at bus stops. PMT's authorities, however, say there is not much demand for night services. Bangalore Metropolitan Transport Corporation. Street art takes on a new form. Get judged up. It is International Judge Day this week, and the city gears up to celebrate it with world-class musicians this season. Making the right move, the Bangalore China Chess Club aims to make the game of Kings and an enjoyable pastime for all. Vertical limit. Modi dubs guarantees by Congress as where Revdi culture decays its back. In fifth poll promise, Rahul announces free travel for women in public buses. Congress seeks pacifier against Amit Shah, Sumunna. JDS promises 2 lakh to women who chooses farmers as life partners. 10 lakh bond government job sought for those marrying farmers. Pramod Mutalik tries his luck in fight between BJP and Congress in Karnataka. No restraint on Tamil Nadu acting against online gaming firms. Attempted to be made to dot wild Tusker in Udukki today. Telangana CM KCR cautions not non-performing MLAs. XMP murder, CBI accuses skin of slain leader's assistant. ED searches premises of Tangedco and SIC officials. KC stops at the TN state song at campaign meeting in Shivamoga. Kochi Water Metro project to improve Iceland's socio-economic condition and boost tourism. Kidney racket busted as donor complained he was not paid in full. Not by Vande Bharat alone. Darwin must stay in Indian school textbooks. Let me read this today editorial page. There is a touch of wry irony in the fact that today most of the news about the Indian Railways concerns Vande Bharat trains, and more particularly the fact that every new Vande Bharat train is being personally plagued up by the Prime Minister. For a little over 4 years ago, the launch of Train 18, the precursor to the Vande Bharat train, was heralded by the initiation of vigilance investigations against some of the top architects of the project on wholly specious grounds. The Tran 18 project was one that was only conceived, planned, and executed with Elan in record time by a team of inspired, talented, and committed railway professionals of the Integral Coach Factory, Perambur, Chennai, with minimum official support. Thankfully, the witch hunt came to naught. Today it seems it is raining. Example, it's raining Vande Bharat trains all over the country. a unique example of the success of a purely local initiative driving policy at the highest level. Amid the publicity, blitz, and euphoria surrounding the successive introduction of Vande Bharat trains, almost on a weekly basis in various parts of the country, it is easy to lose sight of the larger picture and the serious issues confronting the Indian railways. With the elimination of a separate railway budget and its merger with the general budget from 2017 onwards, there has been a welcome shift towards ramping up investments in the Indian Railways, both through increased budgetary support from the general exchequer and through institutional borrowings, aimed at creating additional rail transport capacity ahead of demand, needed more relevant metrics. Accordingly, the annual plan outlay of the Indian Railways, which was 1,09,935 crore in 2016 to 17 in the last separate railway budget, has ballooned to 2,60,200 crore in the budget for 2023 to 24, an increase of that 137%, while in unprecedented levels of investment to build railway infrastructure are a welcome development. Unless these investments translate into concrete progress towards capacity building, highlighting only the inputs without looking at the outcomes serves no purpose. Therefore, the performance of the Indian railways needs to be evaluated using more relevant metrics. This article will look at two areas, one each one the freight and the passenger fronts. The National Rail Plan 2030 envisages raising the rail share in the freight traffic vice versa roadways from 27% to 45% by 2050, and the raising of the average speed of goods trains to 50 kilometers per hour from the present 25 kilometers per hour, and concurrent reduction in the traffic rates for freight by up to 30%. It may be mentioned that the rail share of freight carried reduced from 51% to 51.5% to 5% in 2008 to 2009 to 32.4% in 2018 to 2019 for leads over 300 km. Further, almost the entire increase in our volume of traffic carried by rail over the decade 2008 to 9 to 2018 to 19 has been in the short lead traffic leads up to 300 km, and 55% of the increase was through the transport of just one commodity, which via coal. As yet, there is no evidence of higher levels of traffic being achieved concurrently with diversification of commodities carried or an increase in rail share vice versa road transport. In other words, in the race towards achieving the targets set in NRP, let me make it visible. In NRP, the Indian Railways at or near the starting block. The subject of punctuality, other core issues. On the passenger front, perhaps the single most important operational index is punctuality. Here, a radical shift in emphasis is called for. If stations in the Indian Railways network can be remodeled to international standards, perhaps it is time to aim for international standards in punctuality of trains as well. Japanese railways reckon the punctuality of their high-speed trains in seconds. The Indian Railways should aim to be at least within 5 minutes, without any adjustment of the scheduled time. While published statistics of punctuality usually are above 90%, these figures are arrived at with a dose of adjustment, and only the destination arrival time is considered irrespective of the fact that if train might have been off schedule and route at all the important intermediate stations. More than a decade ago, when an exercise was undertaken to plot the status of all passengers trains and move in the Indian Railways network on real-time basis, the punctuality of all passengers carrying trains at any given time would around 60%. It is high time to move away from the traditional concept of destination punctuality and evolve an index of punctuality that will also reflect the punctuality at select intermediate stations, at least for all mail express trains with the developments in IT and data analytics. This should be possible. Real-time punctuality of 90% should be a challenging target to aim for. The focus should be to improve overall passenger experience, not merely statistics. These are only two examples. There is a vast range of issues such as financial performance, physical performance, safety, organizational or human resources issues, project execution, customer relations, effect of the dedicated freight corridors on the Indian railway system's capacity, and so on that need to be critically analyzed, reviewed, and the necessary cause corrections affected. Have an annual report. 7 years ago, in the wake of the elimination of the FS several separate rail budget. An article by this writer, the Hindu railway budget, a vanishing trick. September 22, 2016, as suggested that the government should consider tabling an annual report on the performance of the railways in the parliament and the lines of the annual economic surveys prepared by the finance ministry ahead of the general budget. This report, unlike a publicity pamphlet like the Indian Railways Yearbook, should be an internal performance audit that should serve as a vulnerable resource for policymakers, CSR students, and also researchers in the field of rail transport. No government or organization would willingly submit itself to such a self-analysis in the public domain, but with the huge sums already invested and proposed to be invested in the future in the rail sector. The nation can ill afford to let the performance of its prime transporter and its largest public undertaking to be judged merely on the basis of the number of Vande Bharat trams introduced. The glitz and opulence of its remodeled stations are the record-breaking length of its railway station platforms. This is about railway present and past. Darwin must stay in Indian school textbooks. He is a senior journalist, Sayantan Dutta. In 2018, the then Union Minister of Human Resource Development, Satyapal Singh, called Darwin's theory of evolution scientifically wrong and asked that it be removed from Indian school and college curricula. The next year, the Vice Chancellor of Andhra University, Nageshwar Rao Gollapalli, made a claim of the 106th Indian Science Congress that the theory of Dashavatara explains evolution better than Darwin's theory. Both instances sparked insufficient controversy. However, little did we know that Mr. Singh's statement also demonstrated clairvoyance. The National Council of Educational Research and Training had dropped Darwin's theory from the examination syllabus for class 9th and 10th students in the academic year 2021 to 2022. In a development this year, this NCERT has now dropped the entire section on evolution from its class 10th textbooks. Need for Darwin's theory teaching change. Scientists and educators across the country are understandably disappointed as one of the most firmly established theories in science. Darwin's theory not only explains the origin of human beings and all other forms of life in the world, but also rescues this explanation from the belief that an intelligent designer read God by built them the way they are and put them in their place, depriving students of this information, especially those who do not take up biology after class 10, is, as descending scientists and educators have pointed out, dangerous. Our approach to teaching Darwin's theory has been largely to tell students a story of a lone Englishman, sometimes two Englishmen, if one were to throw Alfred Russel Wallace into the mix, swimming against the tide of his times, and while Darwin must stay in our textbooks. This is where our teaching of this theory must change. Darwin's theory is based on the fossils he collected and the wildlife he observed on his 5 year trip 1831 to 36 on the IHMS Beagle, a fact that is routinely taught. Something that is not taught, however, is that right before Darwin set out on his journey, the captain of the ship handed him a copy of geologist Charles Lyell's Principles of Geology. Lyell's, having studied glaciers, volcanoes, and fossils, proposed the concept of gradual geological change, that geological phenomenon and objects today result from minute changes accumulating over a period of time, much like how random mutations that confer advantage to certain organisms accumulate over time, giving rise to their present day species. Darwin himself acknowledged the strong influence of less theories on his work. Biological Ruth Hubbard, the first woman to hold a tenured professorship position at Harvard University's biology department, wrote in 1979. By the time Darwin came along, it was clear to many people that the earth and its creatures had histories. As an example, Hubbard talks of Jean Baptiste Lamarck, the French neo-naturalist who proposed his own theory of evolution before Darwin. Flawed as it was, it also portrayed evolution as a process that included accumulation of changes over time and didn't involve an intelligent designer. Other influences. The other important aspect that biology classrooms ignore is the impact that social beliefs of his times had on how Darwin looked at the natural world. Philosopher Bertrand Russell has written about how Darwin's theory was essentially an extension to the animal and vegetables word of laissez faire economics. The term, conceived by economic Adam Smith and developed by Thomas Malthus, referred to self-interest and free competition in the marketplace. Malthus also propounded a theory of population in 1798, where he claimed that humans compete for limited resources until a catastrophic event leads to a decline in the population. Darwin was greatly influenced, as he has acknowledged in his autobiography, by Malthus' ideas of competition in an investment with the limited resources. Thus, only those living beings survive that carry variations that give them an edge over others, a phenomenon that Darwin termed natural selection. Finally, another grave omission in the teaching of the theory of evolution is the consequent use of his theory, both by others and Darwin himself. For instance, Herbert Spencer's idea of survival of the fittest, proposed in 1864, coalesced eventually into a philosophy called social Darwinism, which is well known to have fueled eugenics in the late 19th century. In his later book, The Descent of Man, the selection in relation to sex, Darwin claimed that men have evolved to be naturally more intelligent since they have had to be continuously use their mental faculties to hunt for food and to defend their females and offspring. Notably, here Darwin seems to invoke the same Lamarckian theory of use and disuse, which his theory of natural selection had disproven in the origin. The reminder about the word of science. But why must students and teachers in school concern themselves with these aspects of Darwin theory? The reason is that these examples carry crucial insights about science in both the historical and contemporary world. It is rarely the story of a lone man, and it is shaped by the social and cultural beliefs of its times. Think about how the Second World War was crucial to several scientific inventions and discoveries, which includes the atom bomb, to which it is also actively contributes. Most importantly, however, these examples remind us that science is a messy affair like all human endeavors that requires caution alongside curiosity, creativity, and imagination. If the strength of science lies in its ability to stand the test of critical inquiry, then science classrooms must inculcate the embracing of critic, sometimes at the risk of confronting its own troubled history. The teaching of Darwin's theory of offers possibility of this confrontation without underplaying its transcendence. Thus, while Darwin must remain in our textbooks, how we teach him must change. So about Darwin theory, which was in controversy. Please, I am going to end this today's session. So before going to end this session, please subscribe to my channel, like and comment, guys. So I can come up with very informative videos in the upcoming videos. I hope you guys are doing great and see you in the upcoming videos. Thank you. Bye bye. Take care.